Hi everyone.
Hello.
Hi
Are we live
guys.
already?
Yeah, we're live already.
Let's go.
Hi guys, welcome to the stream. Hello everyone. Good evening. Today we're going to like full English. No more gado and stuff. Unless Vince actually understands things.
I mean, you know my extent. You know my extent of the language.
Dude, you work with two Indonesian girls. You should have known.
I mean, I've worked with more than just two Indonesian girls.
Exactly.
Ever since uni, I've been surrounded by Indonesians.
Don't like Noira ever like accidentally say things to you in Indonesian. Surely she has.
She has,
Yeah,
and I
exactly.
understand. It requires a lot of context. It requires a lot of context for me, but I understand.
Yeah. But hi guys, my name is Rose, and this is a Gremlin Manager. Yes, Trio. Gremlin Manager.
What the fuck? It is a hello.
You're literally on the fucking table. Yes, you're a Gremlin.
I don't make the rules.
Oh, the chat isn't working. No, it's fine. Hold on. Let me try using this chat. See chat.
What's happening?
Yeah, it's YouTube stuff. YouTube has been like YouTube is very junky.
Oh, the chat.
Yeah, the chat. There you go.
Yeah.
YouTube is very junky in general. Just in general, it's just very junky. Junky.
It be like that sometimes.
Oh, no way. No, Indonesia never sleep their bahasa Indonesia whenever speaks in English. Who says? I think Vince is the only person that I know that doesn't slip into their native language when they are talking.
Because my native language is English.
Really?
Yeah, I grew up speaking English.
Ah,
It's only now my accent slips
I
because
see.
I speak in Tagalog a lot.
I see. Like I do. Oh, I did that a lot. I did that a lot with Vincent.
Actually, no, wait. I do have a default accent, and it's closer to like Arabic English kind of vibes.
Uh-huh.
But that only comes out when I'm like sort of like in a
Ranting.
space
Angry,
where
salty.
yeah, or when you hear me talking to my mom.
Oh, all right. Today we're going to talk just a little bit, just a small bit about content creation, content creating, and those sort of stuff. Particularly because we have Vince in the table, like literally on the table right now.
Table's mine.
Literally on the table. He has done a lot of things, like a lot of shit. Like, what have you done?
Is this an interview? Is this
No,
am I applying for a job right now?
this is a TED talk. You know, whenever you do TED talks, you start with your what is it? Credibility.
Hi
first,
guys,
right?
my name is It's Vin. No. So like yeah, I've done a lot of stuff. A lot. My shtick is always I do things and stuff on the internet. But in reality speaking, I've been around in the content creation sphere for more than 5 years by now. Right? So you know, from all the way from obviously creating to editing to now managing with Zone Check 1. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You know, I've dabbled everywhere. I'm a jack of all trades, if you could say that. Yeah, but thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for coming, man. It's been a while since we talk about content creation because obviously I went to you whenever I had like some kind of like block. So it's been a while to have like actual conversation because I see a lot of at least in Indonesian VTuber space, I see a lot of like new VTubers coming in, and some actually did like I see success on some. I know a lot of like very small ones as well, and it's it has become like a very competitive space, you know. Like
Yeah.
yeah. It's
I'll,
very different from like what 2 years ago when I started something like that. Right?
yeah, I think what's actually changed that because of VTubing, the barrier of entry into streaming has lowered a lot in a sense of it's now more commonplace for people to understand that hey, you don't need a lot of things to start streaming. Before it's like
Mm.
webcam, amazing mic,
Uh-huh.
et cetera, et cetera. Now, you know, you can do whatever you want. You can call it streaming, right?
Yeah.
It's more common knowledge for people to think that way. So obviously, because of that, like competition grows. You know, every sector of content creation implodes in a sense
Mm-hmm.
because of the influx of new streamers. But yeah.
True. With that as well, like for like new creators or like even like old ones, I guess that's still looking to grow. Like,
Mm.
what is your like? I know like this is supposed to be like the end of like a conversation, but I know that like based on our history, we snowball a lot of conversation. Like,
Mm.
what if like your advice for them? Like, what is the one thing that you should be like? Cause like, I know I know a couple of my friends were like the bigger the better kind of person. And like
Mm.
I know like a couple of them were like, no, I'm good where I am. I'm just going to create whatever I love kind of thing. And
Mm.
yeah, things like that. Like they obviously they have their own fan bases, right?
Mm.
But
Mm.
looking to grow is another thing.
So, at least in the Zico mindset, aka my mindset, right? It's, you know, I'm sure you've heard about this a lot. I don't know if people know.
Mm. No,
uh,
people can know. Like I literally type whatever they say after the consultation.
yeah, so you get for front row seats to the consultation. So, everyone has heard this. If you know, you've crossed my way, and it's always been, um, set expectations properly and always be consistent, no matter which scale you're at,
Mm-hmm.
right? Especially for growth, consistency will get you anywhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
And setting expectations will help you burn out less, right? So like no matter, in my opinion, like no matter what scale you're in, yes, you can always like, you know, min max things. Is like that's a common term now that I use within Zico,
Mm-hmm.
right? um but at the end of the day, if it's not sustainable for you, it's not going to work,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's like the biggest thing. And like, so if growth is your challenge, you know, staying consistent, setting expectations for yourself, is kind of like the base advice. And obviously after that, it's like, you know, understanding what the minimal viable product is, or let's say, looking at, you know, understanding that you gotta love to share,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's me looking, if I ever was to create my own VTuber group, that is the biggest thing that I want from them, is that they need to love to share,
You
right?
should make one.
Because
Sorry,
if
that's
I
a
had
different tangent. That's a different tangent.
if I had the money, I'd love to. If I had the investors, I'd love to, but we don't. But yeah, so basically, you just want to make sure that um you love to share, because you're gonna meet a lot of challenges in the content creation sphere, right? And at the end of the day, content creation is all about sharing what you love, right? And if you can't do that, and you're not in the right place, right? And
Mm-hmm.
at least in my eyes.
Mm-hmm. So here's a conundrum, right?
Mm.
I know not everyone is here to share. Um, like I know a couple of people that is doing this because they like fame, and
Mm.
I mean like they understand how to garner attention and keep retention and those kind of stuff.
Mm.
But in those terms, kind of thing, like how are they looking to grow if they like the end goal is fame, you know?
Being under a spotlight can also be a form of sharing your love for
Mm, mm,
performance,
mm,
right?
mm,
um and just loving to be under the spotlight. Yeah, some may call it narcissism,
Mm-hmm.
right? But honestly, it's very valid, right? I don't see anything wrong with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
As long as it's something that you like to share, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the key point there is that you love to share your performance, your abilities, your skills, right? Because if you start focusing on the numbers, you kind of lose your way,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, you know, VTubers every 1 or 2 years they graduate,
Every 1 or 2 years they graduate.
right? Like usually it's 6 months to 1 year, and then if they make it past the 1 year, maybe 2 to 3, right? Right, and that's like the reality of content creation, regardless if you're a VTuber or not, right? It's, you know, if you focus on the numbers too hard, you kind of lose your way, and you go back to what I said initially. You haven't set the right expectations for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll lose consistency. Then you'll slowly kind of just burn out, and you'll take a long hiatus, and you'll come back maybe 2 years later, right? And that's if you really love sharing what you do, right?
True.
I didn't mean to attack anyone out there, but that's the truth.
That is because like Tina said, like VTubers only last a maximum of 3 years nowadays, which is kind of true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even like with big corporate VTubers, right? Like if they're unable to do what they love and share what they love, it makes it very, very difficult for people to stay within their industry, right? That's why they leave and they go somewhere else, try something new, right? Some people just drop the whole VTuber thing and just go back to just being a regular creator, right? So it be like that.
It'd be like that. Oh, but what do you think about the notion of quantity versus quality?
So it really depends on your scale, right? Unfortunately, I tell a lot of people this. Quantity is what the algorithms prefer, no matter where you are, right? No matter what platform you are on, quantity is what they prefer. Connectivity is second, right?
Connectivity, okay.
So like being in the same ecosystem. So essentially, if like YouTube, you know, you connect a short to a long form video, and then the long form video goes to streaming, and then yeah, they love that kind of shit, right? So what I always try to preach is that, hey, unfortunately, content creation is also like, you know, content creation is also part business, because that's what content creation has become through the economy, right? People look at it as a business, which means your platform caters to it like a business, right? So quantity is what they want, right? So what I preach is, hey, sometimes you have to bite the bullet to be able to get to a point where all you care about is doing the quality, right? Obviously there's also like how do you call them, not unique, anomalies, right? You have people like Michael Reeves, who posts one video every 6 months, right?
Who's
Donkey, Michael Reeves from
Donkey, I know.
yeah, okay, Michael Reeves from Offline TV, right? The guy that is like an engineer, he builds a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah.
He makes a video every 6 months.
Oh, I didn't know that he makes videos every 6 months, but he's the one that make crazy things.
Yeah, crazy
right?
things, right? To be honest with you, it's gotten to a point where he just posts when he wants to post, right? But before it was like every 6 months, every 3 months, it was long. And then there's like Donkey, who's like every month or something. There's like one video.
Yeah.
Right, and that's like an anomaly, because they understand a lot of the basics that comes with content creation, right? They understand, they have great writing skills, they have great storytelling skills, right? And they don't necessarily have the best editing skills, but they understand what makes a good video, right? Because like, you know, you don't need to know how to do fancy transitions to make a good video. You need to be able to tell a story to make a good video, right? So unless you have that ability, you have that skill that, you know, maybe you've built in another industry. Like for me, I've built it in other industries before I took it to content creation, right? And you've obviously have the time, the investment, yada yada. You can certainly try to break through the algorithm, right? But then you have to weigh out like, hey, is this worth where I'm at in my life right now? And that's like the biggest thing people don't see about content creation, is that, hey, your lifestyle is more important than content creation. Because your lifestyle is what enables your content creation, right?
True.
So that's kind of like where it's at with quantity versus quality. You know, I'm definitely one of those people who has believed in quality first for a very, very long time, right? But I wouldn't say I got jaded. I've now understood the timeline of content creation, right? People have like looked into my content for the past 3 years. You know, you'll see that quality is definitely something I strive for, right? But then it just eats up my life. It eats up a lot of things. It affects me as a person, right? And obviously it affects others in my circles, and it is not a sacrifice
Worth.
that's worth for me currently with my lifestyle, right? Um, and yeah, like content creation, like Sipo said, is that hey, for example, YouTube as a platform is like a lottery system. You can do a lot of things. You can min-max a lot of things to get better chances, but not everything will get picked up by the algorithm, and that's even more so on on platforms like TikTok. Right, on TikTok, it's like you're literally posting as much as you can and hope to God that someone, something is gonna pick up what you've done, right? And you're literally just throwing stuff at the wall until your one video goes viral. And honestly, like if you pay attention to your videos, if you're one of those creators who's done a lot of videos on TikTok, you'll see like a video that you posted 2 months ago all of a sudden picks up traction again, right? And like that's how TikTok works. It's a lottery system, and that's what it is, right? And yeah, so that's kind of like the play on quality versus quantity. Unfortunately, quantity
Wins.
is heavier than quality.
Yeah, because of the algorithm, because of the platform that prefers quantity.
I wouldn't say it wins, but it's slightly more
important,
sustainable in a sense.
Sustainable, right? I see. Yeah.
I'm not saying sense. That I'm not when I say quantity, I'm not telling you to make 4 shorts a day, right? I'm saying, hey, make as much as you can, fail fast, right? Until something happens, because your value as a content creator is your history, right? That's what people are looking for. If let's say you're a VTuber trying to get into a corporation, right? Me as a, if I was a talent not talent manager, what's it called?
A talent manager. Wait, do you want a manager or a performer?
No. The person that searches for talent.
Recruiter.
Yeah, if I was a talent recruiter, right? I'm looking for history. I'm looking for reasons to trust you. I'm looking for potential of entertainment, right? So history and your ability to create is very important, right? It's very hard for me to trust someone who is, under 100 followers and they make one video every 6 months, right? No matter the quality, it's hard for me to tell, hey boss, this guy makes one video every 6 months, but their follower count is really, really low, but trust me, they are a diamond in the rough. And unfortunately, most CEOs only look at the bottom line.
Of course.
That's what it is.
Sorry. But I have like a really good question, but I don't forgot about it.
I'm sorry, I talked too long.
No, that's okay. This is not a question, a preference. What do you call it? I should have said this on the start. This is not a quick start guide on how to be famous. It's not.
Never it is. It never is.
There is no quick way to get famous, to be successful, and those kind of stuff. It needs a lot of hard work. And this is just a cheat sheet. So basically, the whole thing that we're going to talk about is basically, I don't know, we're just going to discuss about a lot of things, but most of the things that we're going to discuss has something to do with content creation and how to grow your platform. Whether it's YouTube or like across other platforms, because nowadays everything is omni-channel, right? At least that's how the business term is. I don't know. Yeah. Basically, another platform goes to another platform and goes to another platform, basically. And there is no fast way to success. No guaranteed way to success. Everything has to have hard work, consistency. At least that's what I've been hearing from him. Consistency.
Yeah, consistency is definitely the biggest one. Obviously, luck does play a part of it.
Yeah, of
but
course.
I'm also part of the world that's like, luck is something that you make. Luck isn't something that happens.
No.
I am that part of the world where, you know, you do your best to increase your chances.
I mean, okay, that makes sense, but at the same time, luck is luck. Like, you can't. Like, there is no, like, you know, even if you increase it to like 99%, there's still 1% that you won't get it, kind of thing. You know?
Yeah, but there's a considerable chunk of luck that you generate yourself, right? So if, let's say, you know, if I do nothing but sit on the side of the road, right, it's like, what's a 5% chance I'll get picked up as a VTuber? You know, I'm not streaming, I'm not making videos, I'm just sitting on the side of the road for most of my life. There is no luck being generated.
True. I guess yeah, I understand what you meant, but I don't know.
I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with believing in fate, believing in luck, you know, believing whatever, you know, what people enjoy. But I'm a big believer in that you curate the luck that you want.
You can increase your chance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, I suck at this with content creation.
What do you mean?
No, that's like, I'm like, okay, I should ask Vince this, and everything like just went out the door. But yeah, I guess it's a very good time to actually answer the question that I post on fucking Twitter. What's the most important thing in content creation? Like, I mean, like, minus consistency, because I know that's what you preach. But if it's like, what do you think it is? Is it personality? Is it quality? Is it aesthetic? Is it story?
You'll kind of slightly dive into story, like, but it's sharing. That's the biggest thing.
Okay.
Right. In its entirety of content creation, its core has always been about sharing, right? And if you lose that factor, you'll be unable to create. Right? How many times do you find someone that's just, you know, sitting on stream, doing nothing and getting famous? You know what I mean? Or getting some kind of business. Doing nothing.
Yeah.
No, when I say, there are people that do generic things, right? But if you do nothing on stream, and I mean like literally nothing.
No. There is, like, it's back in the days though. Nowadays, not nowadays. Back in the days, there are people who, like, in Japan, there are people who pay to like sit down with a girl. If I wasn't mistaken, like back in the day before mukbang.
Oh no, that's like companionship.
Yeah. But they don't do anything. They literally sit on the stream.
Yeah, you're selling companionship. Right? It may not be sharing. You're not sharing. You're sharing, like, false hope. Right? Parasocial tendencies. Right? Before, right? You know, unfortunately, that's regardless of, you know, what you want to do. That is a form of sharing, you know, but morals is very important. Ethics is very important, right? If you really want to, you know, pick apart what I said, you know, right?
No, I understand.
Yeah.
I mean, like, nowadays, there are even streamers for those kind of stuff, you know?
Yeah. I mean, there are literally content forms. I've seen them. I've done my research. There are content forms. But they're all doing something. They're all sharing something. But obviously, it sits on the bad side of the moral spectrum, right? It sits on the bad side of the moral spectrum. There may be no soul in it, right? But like, if you think about it,
it's still sharing
the core.
Something.
It's still sharing something, right? Whether it's good or bad, that's not on me to say. That's on the viewer to say. Yeah, you know. But you know, you don't think about those content farms and think about the top 10 creators of the world, you know.
True. True.
Yeah.
True.
You only think about the money that they make and the what's it called? People taking advantage of them. You know.
True.
Yeah.
There's a couple question here. What do you think about content creator who copycat other creators' content? You talk about this before, and I actually
Yes.
find that very, very helpful.
Oh, okay. Do tell. Do tell.
Yeah. No, because
Tell me
like
too.
if you haven't noticed, from back then I changed a little bit on how I actually talk, on like how I actually explain things. Because of what you basically talk to someone else that I listened and I apply. Copying other creators' content. I guess it's less of a content kind of thing, right? The one that you're basically saying, it's more like emulating someone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
But like what about like yeah if it's a creator's content, I don't, this is on my very uneducated opinion, I don't think there's such thing as copycatting another content, because all content is the same now. Like everyone do the same content, and there's nothing that's like very, very kind of like
Yeah. So if you want to get cerebral about it, right?
Yeah.
You know, in the age of the internet, originality is
dead.
very gone, right? It's very rare for something original to come up, because most of the time, if it feels original, there's an older version of it, right? And this has been popularized by people like Ludwig, who says the yoink and twist mechanic, right? Which is you take something, you look at it, examine it, why is it good or bad, and you twist it, right? And you make it yours. The important part is making it yours, right? And on smaller scales, right? So for creators who are kind of worried about things, so if you look at a larger creator, you like what they do, right? You yoink and twist what they do and bring it to your audience. You're providing an experience that is closer to home for a lot of people. For example, if you like Jeopardy and you bring it home, and you yoink and twist it to make it your own, you're providing that experience to your viewers that they normally won't be able to get from somewhere else, right? The only place they can get it from is probably that large creator who's having a lot of fun with it, right?
Yeah.
What needs to speak is your personality. What needs to speak is your creativity, right? And what needs to speak is your ability to entertain, right? But like at the end of the day, right?
I think like
go for it.
Like I think like the era of like selling content has passed. That era has passed. Nowadays we're selling personality. We're selling our story. Like what's the difference between what I am doing and other VTubers doing? They're also having a chat with their friend about something, right?
Yeah.
Like there's no originality with it. But in this specific stream, you have my personality and Vin's personality, and that's what basically you guys just want to see, right?
Yeah. And to just boil it down to a single word, it's experience.
Yeah.
Right? You're bringing a unique experience to someone. Right? You're offering your own perspective on a certain thing that's been done, right? And that's like the whole concept of representation in a sense, right? So to use kind of like traditional media in a sense of traditional digital media in the sense of like TV shows and stuff like that, right? If you watch, well, man, it's kind of, I don't like the timing of using this, but like if you watch Friends and you bring it to a different country, right, and you switch out all the actors to, let's say, native actors, right, and then obviously you start changing the jokes to be native jokes, it's not Friends anymore, right? But the essence of a sitcom about friends living in the same area and being friendly with each other, this daily life, that's its own representation of your community and of your environment, right? And it always feels good to be able to be like, yo, that sounds like something I would go through, right? Maybe not everyone is able to go to the same coffee shop every weekend or go out and yada yada like the same way people do on Friends, right? Not every country has that, right? You don't always get to have your own seat at the same bar every week, right? Most of the time nowadays we do it online, whatever. But like that's like the whole thing. You're bringing a unique experience to your viewers, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I think. I guess like about like pre content and because like I guess I just watched. I don't know if you watched it today, but MatPat uploaded this video about like YouTube algorithm and the era of access, quote unquote, of like what he liked to say basically.
I haven't watched it yet, but I know what your video we're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's very kind of like yeah. I mean, you can emulate a creator to extent. Now that I think about it, there are a couple people, not like in a VTuber sense, but like in a in real life sense that like does things shot per shot, kind of like copy. Which is like that one, yeah, you can argue on that one. It's plagiarism.
Yeah, I mean, there's also there's two kind of like polarizing kind of like concepts when it comes to quote unquote copying, right? There's the plagiarism aspect, right? And there's also the intent aspect.
Yeah.
Right. You know, if you're copying it for one, you know, just like art, right? You're not essentially bringing any value.
Yeah.
To anything.
Yeah.
Right. And then that kind of coincides with the concept of intent. If your intent was just to get the numbers, you know, you'll get bad publicity, right? But sometimes, you know, if you want to be morally gray about it, that's what people want.
Yeah. Like I know a couple creator that does that. Every now and then it'll pop up in YouTube of like so and so copy so and so.
Yeah,
and
the
then
Mr.
like
Beast one was a big one.
There was one, Mr. Beast?
Yeah. Mr. Beast has a big copycat creator, which is a Russian media platform.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
Where they copy everything from the thumbnail to the content itself.
Like
everything.
Like shot per shot?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Oh dang. Okay, yeah. Like for those, I can argue it's like kind of like a plagiarism kind of thing, but in a content sense, like content itself, there is like where we come to the era where there is no originality anymore in this fucking world. I don't know why. Like it, even fashion stagnated. Like
era of access.
Yeah, era of access. So like in the case of fashion, like if you notice it, since 2010 we never had a new era, if that's making any sense, right?
I mean, I think there are eras, right? But the phases of originality is now gone because of how connected the world is, right? I still think there's eras, right? I still think there's phases and things, but yeah.
Oh, in fashion there's none. Like legit, we only recycle what we had.
Yeah, but that's a phase.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're bringing it to a new audience, because that's what fast fashion is, right? In a sense, there's the bad part of the world, right? Where
no, fast fashion is different, but it is fashion where like I do agree that like you're bringing like old kind of like styles into like the newer generation, which doesn't kind of like things like, for example, like the 60s with like their fucking neon pink and neon colored stuff, and like, you know, people who are born in 2000s probably hasn't went to that phase and they wanted to try and those kind of stuff, and like I totally understand that, but there is no kind of like twist to it anymore.
Yeah, like, that's what I mean. Like originality is gone, but there's still eras, there's still phases.
Yeah.
Right. Even if it's the same thing again, you know, there'll be like maybe 1 or 2 changes, but originality is gone. And you know, like, and I think you can see it in a lot of businesses where people will literally, you know, 1-for-1 copy, and you know, you can't do anything about it. Right? There's copyright clauses, yada yada, but you know, you're playing cross-border politics now.
True.
Right?
True.
And you know, you still can't touch them because it's, you know, you got to have a lot of money to touch them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's a whole the smartphone, Apple versus the other phones.
Yeah, the whole thing you battle.
Yeah.
The whole thing you battle is money and time.
Yeah. Yeah, true. Man, this year. Anyways.
Yes, go ahead.
Uh, oh, this is a good one. Simple said once upon a time, as a clipper, he thinks that he find it good that streamers like to talk in segments.
Oh yeah, I
It-
also believe in.
It's very interesting because Matt Pat on that video said the same thing. Because how our attention span has gotten very not very low, but like it is not our normal attention span. We don't pay attention to the long term unless we're very invested in it, right? So the best way on doing it is by segments.
Yeah, so
That's basically what VTubers like content creators does nowadays. Anything has like a very very interesting opening and then like one segment, two segment, three segment. At least that's what Matt say.
to be fair is not a current thing. It's always been there,
Mhm,
right?
mhm,
So, for example, it's a skill, right?
mhm, mhm.
Your ability to tell a story and make it concise is literally a skill that a lot of people don't have, right? So, to kind of like drive attention, you should be able to be able to be concise with what you say, right?
Mhm.
And also play with how you say it, right? And the biggest example is like literally what I did. I went up and down in the dynamics of my voice and I gave you one concept right away,
Mhm,
right?
mhm,
And that is a skill that is, that is being built by a lot of creators, but they don't necessarily see it, right? And that's why I believe in like, you know, a lot of streamers who understand that if you really want to talk about something, you should be ready to replicate it over and over and be concise about it, right? I think I think Rose being very close to me, you know how I've went to like I went from a very long ranter to someone who can bring concepts together.
You still read a long time before you like, and then you conclude it at the end again. And
Yeah, and that's part of the whole concept of being able to bring things back together. Storytelling, conclusions, right? Old streams when I used to do podcasts and stuff like that. That's where you can see me adjusting how I speak, right? But if it's between friends, fuck it. I'm gonna rhyme as much as I want, right?
I mean, like if it's with friends, like even if you went like on like 12 roundabouts, you're going to talk about it anyways.
Yeah, we're doing it good. We're fucking, but yeah, it's good that simple as a clipper, you see it. That's perfectly cut and clear, and that's literally, an advanced concept that a lot of streamers I think don't have because they come from a streamer first perspective, right? And you're kind of getting to advanced techniques that kind of like talk about being able to do your bit and end it, right? So that's definitely a technique that you should kind of like bring up with people who are more advanced in the content creation sphere, right? People who kind of like look at content creation less about as a hobby, more of a business, to be honest, right? Or side hustles, right? Because it comes from a place that talks about storytelling and videos, right? It becomes ingrained into a creator that, hey, I need to have a setup for what I'm about to say, the meat of what I want to say, keep it concise enough without going on tangents, and then conclude it and repeat what I just said, right? So the repeat part is where you save it for streamers, and then for your stream audience, and then the one right before that you cut it, and that is your video, right? I've preached this to people like Ishi. Noira is kind of more built in because she's been a content creator for a very, very long time, right? But a lot of like creators that I've been around, I've been trying to beat into them that like, hey, you gotta build your streams into segments. You gotta build what you do as a structured stream. And I know you've heard me say that on calls.
Yeah. and here I am not structuring this stream.
Right, you know, and there's many techniques, and like, you know, that's like literally a fun thing. I'm glad there are people that do recognize it, because it's a really good technique, you know, being able to just compartmentalize what you want to say.
Yeah.
Right. Essentially jokes, even like I know creators that literally write their jokes.
Right. So
It's
on that tangent, wait, I'll save the tangent later. I'll you continue. I'll save the tangent.
No, that was kind of like the end of my thing.
Oh, okay. On that tangent,
Mm-hmm.
how important do you think, like, to take notes on, like, what to say, or like what to talk about, or like if, for example, the jokes, or like anything interesting that happened in the day, and those kind of stuff, for like to share it on, you know, your stream? How important do you think that is?
It depends on the context, right? You know, if it is a just chatting stream, you gotta have a lot of topics, right? You know, you gotta have a good mix of them, like mix of topics that are, you know, hot topics, like recent things that happened, recent events, right? Things that you do want to talk about, like things you want to share about, things you can geek about, because that's what people love. People love it when you geek about something, right? Right. When that voice starts coming out, like, you know what I mean, right? Like when you're like so excited about something, people are listening, right? And most of the time, like Simple saying, like exactly, you need to create topics that you can literally have a talk with yourself, right? You need and it's very important to be able to use that as a skill as a streamer and as a YouTuber, right? To be able, maybe not to, you don't have to script it, but you have to have a structure. You have to have it in your head already, right? You have to be aware of it. I think that's the right word. You have to be aware of the things that you want to talk about, right? Unless obviously you're a really skilled streamer and you've already done this many times, you know, a lot of newer content creators, it's more about like you gotta keep it in mind, right? I know Ishi has been doing it for a long time. Ishi prepares topics way in advance. She probably, if I remember correctly, she has post-it notes that she wants to talk about, right? But like the entire skill is just being able to, you know, talk about things that you love.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of it, Nick. I don't think there's nothing wrong with writing jokes. There's nothing wrong with writing literally rants that you want to do.
Literal rant.
Right. There's nothing wrong with it.
Hold on. I know this is really bad, but I was being called by madre. So entertain the chat for a bit. I'm so sorry. I'll be right back.
No worries. Hey Missy, hi Ishi. Oh my god, is that a Mortz I see? And Tina of Simple, what's up guys? Who else is around? Who else was around? Yokoma, what are you guys doing? Okay, hear me out. Writing jokes is a win-win. It is a win-win. And you don't, it's okay if people find out it was a scripted bit. Who cares? Right? As long as everyone's having fun, it's a win-win, right? I hope this live streaming becomes a video. Maybe it might get called in as a VOD. I don't know. I don't necessarily know what Rose's plan is, but that could be it. It's either chat or is united, usually in bullying the streamer, or chat is mostly ignored and is focused on one chatter. Yeah, that's definitely in larger creator spaces with the clips. Definitely 100%. Right? It's usually a big reaction from the streamer because of chat, or the streamer has decided to pick one out of the millions of people or hundreds and thousands of people are talking in the chat. You know what I mean? Oh no, I'm familiar with your usernames. Mortz. Ryokuma. I'm hearing all your wise words, Vin, taking note of everything that might be how do you get this heart out of the way? I can't see. It might be good information for myself. Hey, you know, I'm glad you think it's wise. I like to call it very painful because I had to go through all of this myself, right? If it's good, chat laughs with you. If it's bad, chat laughs. Exactly. Or it's this awkward silence, and then you just make that into the joke, right? but that's like the whole thing about like charisma, and like it's a skill that you need to build. You know, you got to be comfy doing things that you want to explore, the things that you know think might not work, because you never know when it's going to hit until you do it, right? So if you spend a lot of time holding yourself back, right, not trying out new things, come on, like it's like boo. You know what I mean? Like, don't hold yourself back. Don't be scared. Try things out. You know, especially if you're a newer content creator. And I say this a lot to people who work with me or have gone through consultations with me. It's like, don't be scared to try something new. You know, and don't do it just once. Do it multiple times, because you need data to know if it works or not, right? I mean, you think all these comedians are actually impromptu? Nah, man, they actually have a proper script and they train with exactly. You know, it doesn't have to be, not all the time it's like a word for word script, right? There are people in the world that do use a little bit of flexibility in their scripts, right? Or they segment their scripts to be a little bit more consumable, right? There are comedians that really rely on crowd work, but the thing is, they rely on scripted jokes they use with crowds, right? They will repeat the same joke at multiple stages, right, around the world, and that's like, you know, even if it's impromptu, they have their dedicated bread and butter, kind of like topics, right? It's like the whole, when you do go to a comedian that loves to pull on stereotypes based on race or based on, you know, what university you go to, right? Those are jokes that have been tested many, many times, right? And they will pull them out on you. And where it gets to the next level is when that joke hits, right? And then the audience takes it to the next level, right? And then you can draw your parallels from that into streaming, where, you know, if you had like a written joke and then you throw it into what's it called, your chat, and it comes back even better than you thought it would, that's a golden clip. You know what I mean? I'm trying to create interesting content, but I'm afraid of YouTube guidelines. Well, just do your research. You know, don't be afraid of the concept of it. Do your research and be afraid of the things that you can't actually do. Right? You know, don't let some YouTube video tell you what you should be afraid of. Get in there, look into it, and see what you can and cannot do. Be afraid of that. Yeah, if you're really an improv comedian, often you really see the pattern, despite that they're still funny. Exactly, right? Exactly, plug and play. Let's say it's stand-up comedian, they actually make several scripts and treat it as a universal puzzle, so they can script those into whole shows. Exactly. I don't know what you're trying to say, but I see what you mean. Plug and play. Yeah, you gotta. That's like a really skilled thing to do, though. Understanding that you have bits that you can plug and play wherever you want is something that you build through experience.
What are we talking about?
Oh, I'm just talking with chat. We just vibing out, right, chat?
I'm glad you're vibing with the chat. Hey.
Yeah.
Hear me out. Writing jokes is a win-win. Oh my god. Hey, that seems like a Rio thing. Rio does write dad jokes out. Legit.
Yeah, that's good. That's a skill.
Yeah. What was this? Here from Rio, which is very important. How important is cultural translation? Because like what Rio said, basically in like a long paragraph, he mentioned that there is this Indonesian shit poster. Dan bisa dibilang sulit, dan itu udah pernah disinggung sama legendary shit poster. Oh, okay. So there's this guy who basically, like a legendary shit poster, who said basically that cultural translation is very hard. And that it's already how lumrah apa? Lumrah. I don't even use that word so much. How am I going to translate it? It's already like something that's like it's basically something that already should have been done. Basically, something to be expected. Yes, it's already something to be expected, but it's also very hard. And then he got fed up by like a lot of Indonesia that say his content is original, and then he had to explain to them that it was inspired by someone, and his content was basically this is basically an Indonesian thing in my opinion. A lot of Indonesian thinks only two things, either black or white. There's no such thing of gray area, you know. So when you know, when this person said like my content is not original, it was inspired by someone, they think that it was like
Plagiarized?
yeah, it's like plagiarized, yeah, basically copying someone, then he's not original. Like Indonesians still believe in things that's like original, quote unquote. You'll only be original, which is good, or a copy, yes, which is bad, kind of thing, you know?
So this is the concept of formulas, right? I don't know if it's cultural translation though.
No, it's not. It's not. Yeah. It's just an Indonesia thing, basically.
Yeah, because cultural translation is something else. But like, you know, formulas is something that's been there for forever, right? You know, unfortunately, yeah, you know, it really sits on the market that you have, and that's why the bigger your market is, the harder it is for you to do something different.
Yeah.
Right. Because expectations, and that's what people have, and that's why it's very important to cultivate your community in a way that will make it very sustainable for you in the future, right? But that's kind of like a double-edged sword, because yeah, there are formulas out there. It's very easy if you understand editing, you understand storytelling, it's very easy to see the formulas and kind of, you know, make use of it, right? Unfortunately, there's nothing you can do if your community is against it. But because of how the era of you know, content creation is now, right? All that happens is that eventually, you know, kind of, you know, your audience will get switched out for someone else. And I'm part of that. I'm part of the team that believes in, if you're not doing anything ethically wrong, if you're not doing anything that's morally wrong, if you continue to do the things that you love to do and it's been working for you and you enjoy it, right? Your audience will change, your scale will change, and you just have to be ready for that period of time. Right? Because in the end, you are building essentially a business for you in the future, right? You're setting yourself for success because it's healthier for you, it's better for you, right? And you know, unfortunately, the cost of that is that you lose a lot of your old viewers. So there are definitely communities or cultures out there that are not a fan of that.
True.
Right? There's a lot. They're not. It's very. I mean, like, you know, like idol culture, right?
Yeah.
I gotta be careful with what I say, but you know what I mean. Like, people are not a fan of change. And, you know, at the end of the day, you know, that's why I talk about that. Your core should always be about sharing, because if you don't enjoy what you do, it's gonna get incredibly harder as your scale gets larger and larger, right? And you have to be able to be the only person in your box that's supporting yourself, right? And that's kind of like my take on that. You know, the whole, there's too much of like a Western kind of influence and stuff like that. You know, I have seen that happen to people, right? And I've like paid attention to what happens to them, and you know, it's, they just ride with the wave and they continue to do what they do, or they make the choice to not do it, right? Because obviously your lifestyle is at stake, right? Your livelihood is at stake, right? So if you're in a space that, you know, unfortunately needs that money, you're going to listen to the audience. You probably won't be happy, but that also means you're on a shorter timeline, right? But if you're in a space that, you know, that has the privilege to be able to change what you do and sit through the pain for, you know, maybe a year or 2 years, right? They keep going. You know, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, that we touch on that, how important is cultural translation, because like everything is global now. It's like in a global setting, right? We got even if we're like in Southeast Asia, we do sometimes get like viewers from America or from Australia or from other countries, right?
Mm.
How important is um understanding different culture and you know sharing cultural views even if it's wrong.
Yeah, I mean that kind of like boils down to you as the
Mm,
host, aka the streamer, the content creator, whatever you want to
mm,
call it,
mm,
right? I come from a space essentially that's very international,
mm,
right? I grew up in many places in the world. My world views are very very broad,
mm,
right? Um, and unfortunately, I don't share the same culture as a lot of Filipinos, right? And a lot of people tend to kind of look at that in very many different ways, right? It's insane, right? But at the end of the day, what I preach about is like at least for my community, right? The way I want to have my own community is like understanding, be willing to talk about things, stuff like that, because that's essentially each person carries their own culture, right? Regardless of your country or not, your version will just have a lot of similarities to someone else,
mm,
right? And that's what a lot of people relate to,
mm,
right?
mm,
You know, and that level of cultural translation,
mm,
right, is all based on what are you comfy with, right?
mm.
Because it kind of boils down to who are you speaking to, right? Who are you sharing your experiences for, right?
Mm.
The translation doesn't have to come from you, in my opinion, right?
Okay.
The translation um, will come from the viewer, and if they want to be invested in what you do, right? And if
Mm,
they love what you do, regardless, they will kind of come to their own conclusions on things, and that's not in your control. That's not in your power, right?
mm,
Because at the end of the day, your culture is your culture. As an individual that gets that has like the title of third culture kid, the whole concept is that
mm,
you as a person is your own culture. You just share a lot of similarities with possibly the person beside you,
mm,
right? So it's very important to focus more about on who you want to speak to and who you want to share to, rather than thinking about, hey, should I accommodate to everyone? If that's part of your culture that you want to accommodate to everyone, that's within your control, right? But it's not within your control to be like, hey, this person from another culture, you need to understand what we're doing, right? That's not in your control. That's on them, and that's on the audience and the audience that you cultivated, right? Because at the end of the day, if the audience that you cultivated is lynching another person, there's a lot of things you gotta ask about, what you've done in a sense, right?
Sorry,
Also,
continue,
hi
continue.
Tome. No, don't worry. I hear you. What's up, Tome? So let me just catch up to the chat a little bit. But you need to follow your audience, and not everyone likes that. VTuber once said, "I follow trends because I want to be famous. In the end, I don't want to be famous. I don't want to be famous. Why did I become a VTuber or something to that effect? It
See,
might be I want you guys to like me."
it's it's the one that I told you, right? The one that chasing fame. But then again, um thank you so much for the one bottle Kang Tahu. Thank you so much. Anyways, back to that. Um
Mm,
I think it's the one that you were saying about yeah, you need to follow your audience and not everyone's like that kind of thing. It's like listening to the audience. It's the notion between trends and what basically most of the people that actually comes to you for consultation, right?
mm,
Whether I'm burning out because I've been doing things that I don't necessarily enjoy, but it's something that garner me attention,
mm,
kind of thing, you know.
mm.
And then
Okay. Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, like you've replied that for like 5 different times. I remember it by head now, like what you're going to respond to it. But
Go for it. Go for it. I'll take a chill
Ah!
pill.
It's
for
my
it.
show. No, just kidding. But yeah, a lot of VTubers, not just VTubers. Well, most of the time it's VTubers, but I'm sure like streamers or like other content creators also feels the same thing, which is, you know, whether I should listen to my audience or whether I should just enjoy my time here on the screen or like streaming, right? Because not, I mean, yes, you can build a following out of like, you know, things that you enjoy, but not everything will garner your attention, right? For example, you know, unless your Critical Role, your D&D, your 4 hours D&D games definitely wouldn't garner attention unless, you know, surely there are some viewers that like be interested in it, but it won't be like a number of viewers. But if you, for example, played like the hottest, latest game that everyone is playing and everyone is interested on gauging what your reaction to it should be, you'll gather more attention towards that. But it's not necessarily something that you kind of like enjoy doing it, right? So, having a good balance between those two is actually like really good in content creation, right?
Yep.
You know, like for example, if we're talking about streaming, I stream, for example, me, right? I stream twice a week. It's in a lower spectrum, but it's enough spectrum that I won't get burned out. But I will make sure that like one of the stream is for you guys. Whatever you guys enjoy, I will basically cater to you, and the other one is for me to enjoy. That's why, you know, for example, this week alone, I have this content creation 101 because I see a lot of like new VTubers coming into my stream saying hi to me on Twitter and those kind of stuff. And I'll be like, okay, this is something that I can engage to my, you know, viewers. And then I have Final Fantasy later on the week because it's Final Fantasy and I like playing Final Fantasy. By the way, when are you going to sub again?
When I have money. Bills, man, bills.
But yeah, having a good balance is actually very important. Not only just to retain, you know, your audience, or not your core audience, basically, you know, your audience, and probably growing as well if you're following trends. But it's also to keep you from burning out by, you know, ensuring that you also get something out of this. Basically, it's not just like giving, but you also take something as well.
Yeah, and you know, balance is different for everyone.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing, you know.
Yeah.
What you can handle is gonna be very different from the next person. So, you know, I never look at growth as something that you want to compare with someone else. I don't want to look at, you know, you shouldn't look at the goals of becoming a VTuber and being famous should be the same as someone else, right? It should be based on entirely of like what you want to do, what you need to do, and what you can do.
And in that sense, when this person said, what, I follow trends because I want to be famous in the end. If I don't want to be famous, why did I become a VTuber? Like that, it's something that she's chasing, right? It's not for everyone, obviously, but when she do something for the viewers, or like do something for, like, you know, do trends to get more, to garner more attention, to garner more eyes, it's her also taking something because she wanted to be famous, right? She wanted eyes. It's her taking it. So it's basically quote unquote the ideal, you know, kind of like person.
Yeah, I mean,
you know, to kind of do that.
That's why it always boils down to you need to have that love to share.
Yeah.
Right? Because, you know, yeah, if you know, at some point, if you really want to min-max thing, you gotta look at the meta, quote unquote, right?
Quote
the
unquote.
big scary word of the meta of the world and the formulas and things you under. Yeah, but at the end of the day, if you don't like doing it, why are you doing it? You know,
Yeah.
right? But if you understand that it's something that you have to learn and adjust and kind of bring into your own content, then that's a different conversation.
Yeah.
Right? That's you got to look at yourself. You got to, you know, understand where your life is at. You have to understand what are your capabilities, what is your capacity,
Mhm.
right?
Minimum
You know,
viable product.
yeah, you gotta set expectations. Oh shit, look at that. First thing I said on the stream. Set expectations properly.
Mm.
Contextualize what you do. And that's kind of like where I sit in that whole conversation of um what people want in the world essentially, right? What they want from this.
Hmm.
Uh,
Wait, before we go into my next question that I probably already prepared in my head. Tom, do you play Final Fantasy 14? If you do,
Home
where do you play? Which server do you play? And if you play in Japanese data center?
Tom and I go way back. Tom has been with me since my Final Fantasy 14 streaming days.
Oh my god.
And that's long time ago.
I'm always looking for friends in Final Fantasy. Always. Always. Every damn time.
Tom's amazing.
Here goes the FF addiction talk again. Look.
Uh,
You know, there is just a content drop yesterday, and you guys have to see it. Like there is this cute little fairy. It's not cute. She's hot. She's hot and edgy little fairy in the fairy dungeon. Like I kid you not, she's so hot, and we can actually get the wings, which I got.
Oh my god.
Also, there's a new hairstyle, which is like very pretty. You guys will see it on Friday because I'm using that hairstyle. It makes me like look very elegant and very pretty. Anyways. Do VTubers always have to follow new game trends? Oh, we just discussed that, right? They don't have to, but it is like I don't know if you would word it like this, Vince, but I would say yeah, they don't have to, but it is encouraged to in moderation.
Kind of worded differently, but close.
Okay.
Right? It really depends on where you feel the best, right? So variety gaming is a trend that a lot of streamers can do, right?
Mhm.
And that is the main culprit to people following new trends of games, right? However, if if it's not a game that you want to do and it's not a trend that you want to follow, don't follow it, right? So that's where it comes back to what you said. So you can do it in moderation. If you don't have the money, don't worry about it.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, look, if you want to go to the Mr. Beast trend because it's a trend nowadays, right? Like $1 thing versus $100, $1,000, like some $1,000 thing. If you don't have the money, then don't do it. Right?
Yeah. It's simple as that. I could be playing Final Fantasy right now, but I'm not.
But you should. You should. You guys should play Final Fantasy. What is it? Games on Steam are quite expensive. What's more, even if you rarely earn income. So that's where like you like expectation. What you said, right?
Yeah, and that's also like I don't think indie VTubers don't make income. Indie VTubers make income, right? They do. I definitely had a slight phase. Yeah, you make income.
Yeah, I make income.
I had a slight phase where I relied on Twitch money. Right? It was very short, but it was possible. And at that time I had a lot less followers than I do now.
Yeah. For me, for like my 600 followers back in Twitch when I was still streaming in Twitch, I still got like $100 or like $200 out of like a year of streaming, which is like pretty good, And
it kind of comes down to intent, right? To break it down black and white when it comes to let's say okay, never mind. Simple meant that as a small VTuber. No, even as small VTuber,
yeah.
Even as small VTubers. Like for me, one of I think this kind of follows someone else's question that I saw, or statement. Is it because you want to attract new people and know the next step is making them stay? So it kind of falls along the same lines of this one technique that I tell everyone is to be able to know how to cast your net and reel it back in.
Oh my god,
right?
This again.
Right, and what goes hand in hand with that is your intent and your promise of value.
Well,
right?
while we're on this conversation, maybe you should also, after this, maybe you should also explain the funnel,
The content funnel.
the
Good
content
lord.
funnel, the content funnel.
Good lord.
Well, I mean, you were already in this topic. It's literally the top of the funnel, right?
Well, that's also like a different like technique, but yeah, we'll start off where the casting the real comes in first before we go into the content funnel, because the content funnel is essentially where the net lives and thrives in, right? But essentially, right, you know, this is up to the stream. Like everyone has their own ways of providing value, right? Mine is, you know, the promise of products, the promise of content upgrades, right? And that's like, you know, a very very big part of what I've done, and I until this day, you know, a lot of what I've done is
Big production.
big productions and reinvestments of that money that I received, right? It got, and I said it got to a point where I relied on that Twitch money. So, you know, being a small VTuber is not about, you know, the size, it's about the value, right? Because people, regardless of where they're from, if they have the means to, they will support you. But, you know, now you're kind of gonna get into the realm of talking about, like, you know, ethics and morals, right? If you're there to farm money, I you know, that won't sit well with me, right? I'm a very big person that, you know, believes in the trade of value, right? I believe in, you know, doing my best to fulfill promises, right? God damn it, Tom. But anyways,
Tom, I agree. Continue on.
hey, I played a little bit. I played enough.
You played for like a day.
No.
Okay, a week at
No,
most.
I think Tom is referencing my Final Fantasy 14 era.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, but you resub at one stage in your life, and then you're only playing for like a week. I swear.
Life is different now. You know, we're thinking about esports now, right? But you know, if you're out there to farm money, you will quickly see how your value will replicate your intentions to farm money, right? So if as a small VTuber all you do is donathon, subathon, but nothing is changing, no sense of value is being increased, that trend on the graph will fall down sharply, because eventually your viewers will be like, oh shit, okay, I mean, I'm having fun, but I don't see what I'm getting in return, other than obviously maybe, you know, putting a smile on someone's face, and yeah, entertainment, right? And you know, that's something that you have to ask yourself in that case. But like, going back to the whole concept of casting the net and reeling back in, right? This is a technique that literally everyone does in the content creation sphere, right? This is understanding what is your bread and butter, understanding who is attracting, and learning how to convert that into regulars, right? So for example, if your main skill is your ability to host events, put on big productions, or try large projects, right? You know right away that you are gathering a lot of eyes really quickly, right? And you're pulling them in. And so when you come out with this event idea, you're pulling them out. You're putting out the net, and you're gonna start reeling it back in, right? And then you start doing your attempts to create regulars, which is like along the lines of like, hey, you know, maybe your production is very story focused, very creator focused, right? Or maybe you provide a production level that's not seen quite a lot around, right? You do more than just a tournament, or let's say you provide products with what you do, right? With you know, I'm literally just picking from my own experience, but like, you provide products, right? And then eventually, you know, those people who believe in what you do and believe in the value of what you have, right? They will slowly turn into regulars. You start seeing them more and more. Every stream, right? Every video, they pop up, yada yada. You're building this culture around them, right? And then eventually, these regulars will financially invest with you, right? And this is kind of like, you have to treat them in the same amount of respect as like an investor in a sense, right? because now there is an actual trade between value and income, right? So at the bottom of the funnel, you're thinking you're in the space of like you're pulling up the net. You're literally in the space of, hey, I'm going to give you as much as I can, right? And you will be rewarded with things that only you can get, right? And that all kind of lines up with the concept that Rose was talking about, which is the content funnel or the funnel in general, right? It's typically marketing related, right?
Yeah.
So
I think you can see it on YouTube. If you're a content creator, you can also see it on your YouTube analytics. There is a funnel, like literal a funnel there.
yeah, it does, right? God damn it. Hey, I played a lot of Final Fantasy. I wish I played more, to be honest. But so
yeah,
the
when
content,
we should play more. Yeah, when
I'm telling you this, I love rating. That's my love of the game. It's rating.
Come on, PNS, let's go. Let's go PNS. I haven't done
Right, but-
P12S2, so if we want to proc together, we can.
Oh my lord. Well, you know, that's essentially what I love about Final Fantasy. But anyways, back to the content funnel, right? So it's you know, like a funnel. It's a cone. It's upside down triangle.
Upside down triangle.
At the top level, you have everyone that's gonna like kind of like pass by, give you an eye. Literally just people who are not invested with you, right? The second half of it will be the regulars. These are the people who are invested in what you do, right? They want more of you, right? And then literally at the bottom is, you know, the people who are super invested with you. They are more than just regulars. They're like people who are there to back you up, be there for you, you know, financially in certain cases, or maybe go as far as to buy your merch, right? And, you know, that is something that a lot of people kind of neglect. It's painful.
Sorry,
You good.
I'm strategizing with Tom.
I see what you guys are doing. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
But yeah, but the funnel, to be very honest, if you're really just a new starting creator, you don't have to. I don't think I even think about the funnel nowadays. Yeah,
It's not something you should worry
yeah, it only applies on like maybe mid to like for those who actually not once already is viable for their streaming or like their content creation to be like a full like a business, not a full-time job, maybe like a business or a side hustle.
Unless, or if you're looking at content creation as a passion project, it'll be important. You can neglect the financial end, but because what you're selling is value, right? As a content creator, you're selling value, aka entertainment, aka joy, whatever you want it to be, right? And using a content funnel gives you this perspective of respecting your viewers, right? An equal amount of investment should be given when you're participating in the concept of a funnel, right? So, you know, you can't expect everyone to donate if you're doing nothing, you know. You can't expect anyone to buy your products if you're not, you know, returning the amount of value that, you know, that comes around, right? And in the sense of like removing the financial end of it, right? You can't expect people to join your RP server if you've never created if you've never RP'd, if you've never had that community for it, right? You know, the content funnel can be adjusted in many ways. It doesn't have to be financial. At the end of the day, it's all about levels of investment. Period.
Period. Oh, I thought that it was a long pause. Period. Oh, but yeah, in a case of like, oh, I lost my train of thoughts.
My bad.
That's okay.
I went on a very long rant.
It's no, but it's a very good rant because I think I only started understanding after you told me. Like I started to like actually reevaluate, you know, um, like you know my content and all of that. Like for anyone who has been following me for a long time, you guys know that I had like what a 3 month hiatus or something like that. Not only like it has something to do with like my real life, my addiction to FF. No, but like seriously, my addiction to FF actually made my channel die. Legit. Because it was growing when I was doing MSQ, and then after it ended, it died. Because I was only doing MSQ back then. And then after it's finished, I did a couple raid, and then it died, basically. Which is to be expected, you know. The value was there when I was doing MSQ. It's something that I love. It's something that you guys love, and then you guys wanted to see my reaction to it because it's something that you guys love, right? And that's basically the value that I'm giving you guys. But after, you know, like because the story was so good, right? And then after everything is said and done, it became stagnant and died because there is no more MSQ. I've done all of the MSQ, right? And I'm basically reacting as you guys reacting. So you guys don't see me reacting because you guys already kind of like because you guys, I mean like because we are reacting together. If that's making any sense. Yeah. So that's why it died. And then because of what you said with a lot of like this consultation of like actually like thinking of like what value that I give to the other person and what's my brand core is and whatnot and those kind of stuff, I started to kind of like ask myself what value, and then like I guess I found it, right? But it does really help on like knowing, you know, what it is that you give to your viewers the most, basically.
And sometimes the most basic thing to do is just literally ask your viewers.
Bejidat anjir. Ya nggak gitu juga. He's saying that my big forehead because you know my model does have a big forehead. And my chibi has a bigger forehead. Anyways, but yeah, what's the difference between the value that I give to the viewer and core brand core?
So okay, so value is the product of what you create, right? Is I guess I would call it a byproduct of what you create, right? And your brand core is your personality, the tone of what you produce, right? So it's all about understanding that hey, based on what you do, based on the things that you love to share, right? It creates a certain type of value, right? You know, if mine is all about storytelling and mine is all about this love for esports, you know, my brand core is all about just storytelling in general, right? The value I try to generate is through, you know, inputting that brand into all the things that I do, right? The biggest hits being like the Messenger project, being the D&D project I had, and then now the esport projects I've had, right? You know, what I do, who I speak as, the tone of what I say, the tone of what I create, the personality of what I bring to everything, right? Is it speaks through the value that I've made, right? Core brand is your genre, value is how you emulate it. Not necessarily, right? Your core, the genre of where you create is outside of the core pillar, the three main pillars, right? So in Zone Check 1, a lot of our consultation revolves around hey, you need to build content pillars for yourself, right? And this doesn't have to be like, I am a Valorant streamer. No. It's more along the lines of, hey, what are 2 to 3 things you're very passionate about? Or what is an aesthetic or a vibe that you want to like give out to your viewers, right? Just like any business, like understanding that, hey, I want to create a luxury brand of clothing for maybe this project or this what's it called, industry, right? You all of a sudden the way you handle things will be a little bit different from the rest. It depends like what materials you bring, what factories you work with, etc., right? That all stems from your core of your content pillars, in a sense, in this case, right? And then value is how you emulate it. Value is I don't know another way to rephrase it, but it is the byproduct of what you create, right? It is the trust, it is the joy that people receive from it, right? Not like explicitly Twitch tags. No. Like calming, energetic, friendly vibes. Yeah, like who you are as a person, as a creator. I mean, what you like to share. So like the basic practice has always been around like, hey, what is something that you like to share? How do you want to present yourself, right? What makes you you? And like, those are kind of the questions that I ask when you're trying to build content pillars, right? If your love is for storytelling, like me, right, everything I do will have storytelling with it, right? From obviously the easier thing, tabletop RPGs, all the way to esports. There's a big emphasis on storytelling, right? If you open up my YouTube, you'll literally see interviews and stuff like that, I think that answers that.
Yeah. Okay. Because like I still find it hard to differentiate, core brand and value. Not gonna lie, because it is something that I don't know, quite similar. I guess in my term, I guess my core, like even if I put like my core brand value as like fashion, because that's what I'm very heavily invested on, like fashion and gaming. It's very hard to kind of like translate it into like a product, because
Okay, so if your love is for fashion and you create videos that are based on fashion, whether it's educational, whether it's for fun, or if it's a challenge, right? That results in a form of value.
Yeah, I mean,
right? If it's
I mean, like in a combination of both, but like in different kind of like, for example, like if it's like fashion and gaming, like I have a gaming thing and I have a fashion thing. Like I know like a couple like content that I can create a value for. And I probably should open a fashion review stream once. But yeah, it's something that like I struggle on, like in my brain, like to get maximum value, I do wanna like combine these two together, because like now the problem with that I have, which probably like it translates with a couple of people too, is that you have like people who had like who are interested in your gaming stuff and who are interested in your fashion stuff, and they do not cross. Not everyone do not cross, but like definitely, you get what I mean.
Yeah, but that's why you go back to the concept of you have to ask your viewers, because value doesn't come from it's not something that you generate, in a sense. Like it's a byproduct of the things you create, right? So in context, right, if you love fashion and you love gaming, right, and you show that love on stream, value could be as simple as they enjoy watching you geek about the things that you love. Right? People enjoy the energy that you bring and helps them forget about the things that they have to do on a daily, right? Very simple version of this is, hey, Neuer wants to sell escapism. She wants to sell the concept of, hey, when you come to my stream, it's just you're here to vibe out and forget about how your day has been going, right? And that is her value that has became a thing after all the content that she has created. You know what I mean? Like you don't learn how to sell escapism from day one. Right? You don't learn how to sell, you don't learn how to provide value on day one. Value is a conversation between you and your viewers. Value is a conversation between you and the regulars that you have. Right? Because it's very hard to see what people enjoy. Because, you know, for me, I can care a lot about, hey, I want to put my participants on the biggest pedestal ever, right? But their value could be something else. Their value is just they love being a part of something bigger, right? So my goals kind of are different from what they see, right? So it's like I said, it's a conversation about you know, what you get and what you receive and what you put out into the world.
Oh, all right. On a closing part here, I do want to ask, what is your advice, your biggest advice to people who are just starting? That's one. Oh, one by one. Who people who are just starting to stream?
Just do it. I mean, I already said others. I've already said, like, you know, love to share. Right? But the biggest thing is just do it. Don't wait on, like, I think, okay, I'll make this VTuber coded. A lot of people wait till they get their assets. A lot of people wait till they get all the beautiful things that come with VTubing. Right? Don't wait. Just do it. Right?
Building history is important. That's what I learned. History is important. Yes. How about, okay, so that's the advice for, like, this is a really bad structure, but I'm going for it.
Go for it. Shoot for the skies.
Okay, so how about for people who are being burned out? Like, what do they have to do to finally get, you know, interested in streaming again, finally started to enjoy streaming again?
Being burnt out is inevitable. It's something that you can't fight, but it's something that you can work with, right? So learning how to recover, learning how to adjust, learning how to recognize that burnout is coming, those are all very important skills.
Any tips on any of those?
It falls down to expectations and balance. Right? Because the biggest killer of motivation is the lack of reward from expectations. Right? So because of that, regardless if you're winning nonstop back to back or if you're losing over and over, you know, if you keep on fighting the concept of burnout, being burnt out, right? All it would do, it will just make it worse, right? If you know that you're burning out, accept it. Right?
Oh my god, okay. Very easy to say.
Yeah, it's easy to say, harder to do. And that's very true. Right? And because no one wants to feel bad.
Yeah.
Right? No one wants to feel bad. No one wants to
I think it's not bad, it's vulnerable.
Vulnerable. I think the biggest one is that I just lost it, but it's something along the lines of no one wants to be put into a space where they don't feel like themselves, right? Where you use your eyes for like motivation, or you're kind of losing your way in a sense, right? No one likes that, but learning to understand it, learning to accept it, learning to figure out how to recognize it and recover from it is more important than learning how to stop it. Right? And this applies anywhere. It doesn't have to be content creation, you know, because burnout is essentially the combination of many things. Right? It's life, it's work, it's, you know, passion, It's everything.
One ultimate advice for people who are looking to grow, who are basically active, very active, and still looking to grow.
Ultimate advice for people who are super active and looking to grow, right?
Branch to other platform.
No.
Oh.
Keep exploring. It's a bigger concept.
Ah.
Don't stop. Keep exploring.
Keep learning.
Right?
Keep exploring.
Keep learning.
Trying new things.
Yeah. Eventually, it will give back to you, right? Maybe not in a way that you thought of, but it could be something in a way that you never thought would come. Yeah. Keep exploring.
Interesting, because I never thought that.
I mean, it's like, I think this comes from a lot of times I've been at the top end of my own culinary career. You know, I've always been in a very, very competitive space. Right? You know, I've been in industries where I can get fired the next day and stuff like that. And you know, something that you learn is that, hey, you gotta learn how to roll with the punches and move on to the next thing, because eventually you'll find something that you love, or you'll eventually find out that maybe this wasn't for you.
Like you, just kidding.
No, like I left culinary.
I thought you, but you still love it very, very much.
I love it in a different way, and it's not the way that I thought I loved it.
Okay.
Right? I love the stories that food creates. I love the experiences that food creates. I don't love the kitchen.
Yeah, we all work in the kitchen as well. Different kitchen though. I think he works in a bakery or something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, cause like I never thought that, like, cause we explained how like looking towards the trends and not trying something new, but looking towards a trend is kind of like, I guess looking towards a trend and trying something new are two different things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, my brain went through like, oh, those are the same thing, and then like I start talking about it, and we're like, no, those are two different things.
You good.
No, yeah. It's different. Like trying different things could be like the different things that you actually enjoy, and you know, that's all right. And if you're trying different things that you don't enjoy, but you know that a lot of people actually like, that's also okay. But you know, like we mentioned before, in moderation.
Yeah, everything in moderation. That's like a life tip. That's not a content creation tip. That's a life tip.
Look,
you know?
if nowadays we can do live in a moderation, oh, everything will be so wonderful.
Yeah. I would have spent less years in the kitchen.
Exactly.
I would have spent less years chasing Michelin stars, guys.
I would have like a lot more time to just chillax and not stress about every single little thing because of, like, you know, the rising price of houses and whatnot.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Before we close things up, is there any other questions?
Yeah, I'm an open book. You know, usually, you know, you come to Zone Check 1 for consultations, but for now, you know, for roles and for everyone in the chat, I'm
we
open.
have 15 minutes. If you need to look for your, like, if you need, you know, some problem solving with your bloody bloody channel. Do you wear pants?
On stream, off stream. What are you talking about?
No, it's a big long whole overall like sweater. It's just like to the fit.
Oh. You know what? I'll leave it to your imagination, bro. That's on you. I'm here to provide value, and if that value means something else, that's for you, not for me to hear.
Alright. If there's nothing, you can definitely, if you guys wanted like a more in-depth, if you guys like a new smaller VTuber, or like even if you're a big VTuber that looking to like grow or like monetize your channel, you can definitely go to the Zone Check 1. They do a lot of shit, but most importantly, they do consultation.
Mhm.
and it's always with this guy over here.
Hello, but we also have, we have our middle managers. They're also great people.
Mm-hmm.
Morty and Loons, who
Mhm,
are
mhm.
very charismatic managers.
Mhm.
They're amazing as well.
If you guys want to get managed by them, you can also do that. What do you what like for management stuff is mainly operational. I'm just going to put it out there. Isn't it?
No. So our management comes in a variety of scopes, right? So we have like lower tier management where it's more of a mentorship kind of deal, or like a essentially your easy access into a lot of like knowledge in a sense, right? To get into content creation. So we have like lower end scopes and we have higher end scopes where it is operational,
Mhm.
right? We provide career development. We provide what's it called? Project management. We provide, public relations, stuff like that.
Analytics.
Analytics. We provide creative support, right? We do all of that, and our main shtick is that, hey, we are not looking to take over your brand. We are here to be your creator support. We are here to make sure that you feel at home. You feel that you can be your own person, right? And the best thing of all is that, hey, it's on short-term contracts, 1 quarter contracts, essentially three months, right? And it doesn't lock you in. If you want out, you're out, and just make sure we take it professionally and whatnot. Right. We're here to take care of you and support you. We're not here to take over.
And if you're not looking for a management kind of like thing, they also do a lot of things. They do project management. I think you do project management, right? And then the most important thing that people actually sought for is consultation. So anything about this consultation, anything related to your content, it could be about branding, it could be about just like being burnout, it could be like a whole sort of thing. Vin and Noira, which is Vin's business partner, will
Mhm.
definitely help you in that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did not put the zone check one link down below, but I will after this because I am dumb.
You're good. Don't worry about it.
No, I'm thinking about it. I was like, oh yeah, this whole point is like I'm also promoting for zone check one, huh? Yeah. Haha.
She's also part of the team, guys.
Yeah, I'm a smaller part of the team in which like I listen to you guys and I write everything down.
That's a big part. I don't know what you're talking about. You know how
I didn't do anything. I just write shit down.
having access to something that you don't have to listen to for 1 to 2 hours
True.
is so valuable. Time is valuable.
True. But yeah, I do also give recommendations. Basically, me supporting my artist friends if anyone is looking for, artist.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you so much, Finn, for coming to the stream. Thank you so much for
Thank you for having me.
blessing us with your wiseness.
Oh my lord. I'm not that old, guys.
My God, the value that I give to my viewers is my stupidity. Let's go.
Bro, that's my shtick. I don't know about you. Don't expect if I ever return to streaming or content creation, don't expect this level of cerebralness. I'm very stupid.
No, like this is like
I play Yoru.
He this is like basically he putting on like his business suit, and then like he like after this done, like he's going to throw away his business suit basically.
I play samurai.
It's not that bad, at least you don't play BLM,
All I'm saying is samurai is press 3 buttons and I'm happy.
Actually, it goes more than that. There's a flank and then there's a rear and then there's the stickers and then like there's the 3 stickers after the 3 stickers.
Yeah, but it's like, it doesn't really matter as much. I literally play Sam because it's easy to stream, okay?
It's easy on level 70. I do agree with that. And then when you get
so
level
easy to
90,
stream.
and then after level 90, you were like, what the fuck? What the actual
What did I get
fuck?
myself into?
Yeah. No, you want the easy one? It's Dancer, man. You want 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Whoa, imagine what I'm playing now.
Actually, yes, I did do an actually. It's Final Fantasy, bitch. Snap.
Yeah, all I'm saying, I did switch classes. The jobs. I mean, I am a dancer now.
You're a dancer now?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what easier than a dancer?
Wait,
Summoner.
I'm good. I don't like managing.
You just place one. That's it. And then you click the thing whenever you click the whole Garuda Ifrit and Titan after like they done, and then you click Bahamut and then the Garuda Ifrit Titan, and then like you click Phoenix and then Garuda Ifrit Titan, and then like you click Bahamut again. Legit.
I'm good.
Someone is branded.
I want to run fast. And that's it. Okay, that's the only reason why I play dancer, because I can run fast. Everyone else running faster is a bonus.
Have you seen the new job?
Yes, literally when it came out,
Uh-huh.
people DM me right away like, Vin, you know you want this, right? I'm
You
like,
know you want it.
I
you
don't even
know you
have
want
fucking
it.
Shadowbringers. I don't even have fucking the other one.
The Endwalker.
Endwalker. I won't have the newest class.
There's a 50% off.
The sub is expensive.
Yeah, but just buy the expansion first.
But I won't be playing.
You can play on like the free days. There are free days.
They don't always line up with my schedule.
You can make them if you can make your consultation line up with your pay schedule.
One brings me money, the other one doesn't. The other one takes money from me.
If you can make your consultation, you can make time for FF. Alright. Thank you guys for coming to the stream. Thank you, Finn, for coming.
Thank you for having me.
And yeah, you guys can find Finn in Zone Check 1 and the NS production. Nomad production. Nomad series.
Yup.
Nomad series production. I will have the link down below after the stream because I don't know what's wrong with me today.
It's all good. We hear the vibe.
Like my brain suddenly went foo-foo. Anyways. I hope to see you guys on Friday for my Final Fantasy gaming day. I'm going to do Bosja. I promise on doing Bosja with Kuro Heiji. So I'm going to go play Bosja. So come and play. If you want to play with me, you can play with me. Or if you wanna just watch and see, you can just watch and see as well. Alright. Thank you guys. And as always, good evening, good night. And I'll see you guys on Friday. Bye bye.
Bye.